A major crisis is underway in Mexico, where journalists are facing a wave of deadly violence. At least 4 reporters were targeted and killed in January, making it the deadliest month for Mexican journalists in almost a decade. Enrique Acevedo is following the latest from Tijuana.
Jaime Melo, the only female crime photographer in Tijuana, reports for Punto Norte, a news outlet that specializes in crime stories. She rushes around the city covering a migrant camp, a fire, a murder, knowing that her camera makes her a target.
It's not really clear where danger is. Maybe just around the corner.
Sí, desgraciadamente.
Unfortunately, yes. Danger is always around the corner here.
But she's committed.
We're more afraid of staying quiet.
Exacto. Tendría más miedo.
Exactly. I would be more afraid of not facing the reality.
Part of that reality, funerals for colleagues. Just this past Sunday, a public mass for 2 journalists was held.
News photographer Margarito Martinez and veteran reporter Lourdes Maldonado executed only 6 days apart.
At least 148 journalists have been killed in Mexico since 2000, and 90% of those crimes remain unpunished.
According to a report by the Department of Justice, as many as 70% of all the guns used in violent crimes in Mexico are traced back to the U.S. Mexico's government filed a lawsuit last August accusing gun manufacturers in the U.S. of facilitating the trafficking of weapons to criminal organizations in Mexico.
But lawsuits don't solve the problem of Mexico being one of the most lethal countries in the world for journalists.
All right, Enrique, you are here to discuss more about this. Why now? Why are journalists being targeted now?
Good morning, Anne-Marie. It's not clear why now. This latest surge in killings is fueling a public outcry for protection for the nation's reporters, but it's not clear why this is happening at the beginning of the year. Here in Tijuana, it had been almost a decade since a journalist had been killed. So a lot of the people we talked to, a lot of the reporters, photographers we spoke to, were really surprised and, of course, concerned about the situation.
And then who's being targeted and who's targeting them?
Well, anyone with a camera, with a notepad, anyone really reporting, doing journalism could be a target. And it's as simple as covering a traffic accident or another incident in the street, and a corrupt police, someone tied to criminal organizations not liking what you're doing or what you're trying to achieve, and trying to stop that. I think it can be described as a war on truth. Only one side has AK-47 machine guns, unlimited firepower, really, and the other is holding notepads and cameras.
And I see you standing in front of a police cruiser. What is happening in terms of investigations? I mean, are police going after these people? Have they caught anyone?
Actually, at a federal level, there was a special prosecutor created to address crimes against journalists. That happened in 2012. Since its creation, it's opened around 800 investigations, but it's only solved less than 1% of those. So most of the crimes against journalists, and that might have to do with your first question, with the timing of this latest surge. Most of the crimes against journalists remain unpunished. So like one of the photographers we spoke to told me, it's not expensive. There's not a consequence when you kill a journalist in Mexico.
And then, okay, then beyond that, what about politicians? What about the president? Is anyone sort of speaking out for journalists?
Mainly, international organizations like the Committee to Protect Journalists or Article 19. But here in Mexico, politicians, the President López Obrador, has not just remained silent in the violence against journalists, but in a way he has fueled that violence by criticizing reporters and journalists who are critical of his government. Many feel that sort of rhetoric is just adding fuel to this fire.
Enrique, you are standing in front of a camera with a notepad, precisely the 2 things that you said make journalists a target. Stay safe, and thank you very much for your reporting.
Thank you, Anne-Marie.